Hey, Dr. B here, and it's time for worksheet 7.6, polyatomic ions worksheet. Let's practice memorizing and writing some polyatomic ions and their compounds. Let's begin by practicing our memorization. Here it is if you need it, but try not to look up. What's an acetate? Well, it's done three different ways. It can be CH3, CO2 minus, or HC2H3O2, or sometimes even OAC. A bisulfite is HSO3 minus. It's a pretty uncommon one. Chlorite is not hypochlorite, which would be ClO, so I think it's going to be ClO2 with a -1 charge. Hydroxides, OH -1. What's a nitrite? It's not a nitride, and it's not a nitrate. It's NO2 minus. A phosphide is not a phosphate. It's just the element. IDE usually means comes from just the element, like chloride. And that would be P with a 3- charge. NH4 is a rare polyatomic cation, known as ammonium. BrO3 is not a bromide, it's a bromate. CrO4 is not dichromate because there's only one chromium, so it's a chromate. ClO minus is the lowest in that series as we go from hypochlorite to chlorite to chlorate to perchlorate. And so that's ClO minus. That's a hypochlorite. ClO4 minus is fully loaded. That's as far as it can get. That's derived, or you could say, if you wanted to get fancy, the conjugate base of perchloric acid. So that is perchlorate. SO4 2- is very common. That's a sulfate. A bicarbonate or a hydrogen carbonate is HCO3 with a -1 charge. A carbonate is CO3 with a -2 charge. Cyanide is Cn- with a -1 charge. Nitrate is NO3 -1. Permanganate, not that common. It's that purple stuff, potassium permanganate solution. That's MnO4 with a -1 charge. A sulfide is just from the element, so S2-. HSO4 is not a sulfate. Similar to bicarbonate, we could call it a hydrogen sulfate or a bisulfate. ClO3 is almost fully loaded. ClO4 would be perchlorate, so this is just a chlorate. Cr2O7 is a dichromate, but it is one dichromate, which can cause students to pull their hair. I thought we weren't supposed to use monoditri, but it is one dichromate. This is not a nitrate, it's a nitride. This is not a phosphide, it's a phosphate. And this is not a sulfate, it's one oxygen short, so it's a sulfite. Notice that ite to ate as you gain oxygens. Here's a few that are done. You need more information. You can't say what iron carbonate is unless you know whether the charge on the iron. That's true for that polyvalent region. Ah, there it is with the charge given. Titanium 4 perchlorate, I guess that would be Ti with 4 of the ClO4s. Silver 1 sulfide, well, silver's always +1, but that's okay. Ag2S. Magnesium cyanide, you need 2 cyanides because magnesium's +2 and cyanide's -1, so Mg with parentheses, always wrap your radical, Cn2. Iron 2 permanganate, well in this case we'll need 2 of those MnO4s to offset the +2. Yttrium, what a cool sounding element, 4 nitrate. Yttrium is just Y, but it's, boy, +4. Each nitrate's -1, I guess we need 4 of them. Wrap your radical. Chromium, 5 hydroxide, maybe a theoretical substance. Not sure if chromium can hit +5, but let's pretend it does. Gold 1 phosphate. Interesting that you would need 3 of those golds per phosphate, since phosphates are -3. And you're specifying the charge right there as +1. Ammonium phosphate, well, that's what it would be called, even though there's 3 ammoniums. We don't use monoditri for salts. Antimony, that's Sb. We'll put a little 2 above it. A nitride, that's N. We'll put a -3 above it. We'll drop and switch, and we will get Sb3 and 2. Alp? No, that is aluminum phosphide. Magnesium 4 dichromate. Well, the dichromates are -2. Manganese is given as +4, so let's use 2 dichromates. Sodium chloride. Tungsten 2 carbonate. Tungsten is that strange W symbol with a +2. Nicely offsets the carbonate, so this would be WCO3. And this is ammonium permanganate. And each are +1 and -1. I hope this practice helped you. This is the polyatomic ions worksheet.